Oh, I'm opening my own beverage. Welcome back to another episode of Sippin With Sin, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to have you here for yet another week and another fun-filled episode. Let us take a little sip to kick it off because it's another week and you're here and you're listening and I'm coming to you live in your ear holes. Oh, yeah. That was the champagne of beer right there. Oh, that was just delicious. That was some high life. You know, that's how we roll sometimes. But, okay. We got a jam-packed episode for you this week. I mean, we have a lot of stuff. There's a lot of content coming out, a lot of shows, a lot of stuff to dive into. So we're not going to dilly-dally. We're going to get into it. But as I say that, I'm going to actually dilly-dally because something come across my feed, and it is it's pretty interesting. But before I do that, I must throw you a little curveball and welcome our one and only esteemed colleague and co-host, Christian, back to the show.
Hello there.
I had to throw a curveball. I started to do it, and I was like, you know what? I probably should welcome him, and instead of leaving him over here in the nothingness while I talk about this, because that just wouldn't work. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So I wanted to touch on this quickly because, as a lot of you know, we're big horror fans, and this come across my timeline, and I really don't know how accurate it is. So it's probably not the best thing to read and go over, but I still wanted to talk about it, and I'm curious to find out how accurate it is. I think it has to, well, I don't know. Maybe it's close. But it's a horror kill count. So before we go into our first stuff, I wanted to go over it quickly because some of the stuff is kind of shocking. And Christian, I'm kind of curious to see what you think about it. But I'll go through them pretty fast. So we have Ghostface coming in with a total of 39 kills. You have Jason Voorhees coming in with 158 kills. You have Hellraiser, Pinhead, to be more specific, coming in with 50 kills. Chucky has 88. Leatherface has 60. Jigsaw has 60. Final Destination has 45. The Leprechaun has 58. Freddy Krueger has 42. Victor Crowley, or Hatchet, or whatever you want to call him, has 59. Hannibal Lecter has 98. And the top kill count in this is Michael Myers with 170 kills.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
If you think about it, how many Screams are there? 6? No, 5. Five. 6 is coming out. Right?
Yeah, 6 is coming out without Neve Campbell.
Yeah, okay. That's a whole nother topic. We're not going to go on that. But 39 kills, I guess that sounds about right for 5 movies. Jason, there's... God, how many? 10, 11.
There's over 10.
Yeah. The remake, 11, he's in at least 12 movies? By the time you count Freddy, Jason...
Actually, no, because you can't count the first one, because technically he's not killing people.
True. Okay, so he's in 11 movies then. And he has 158. Hellraiser, I can't remember how many Hellraisers there are.
There's a lot now. There's a whole lot of straight to DVD versions of the movie.
But the catch with him too is also he's not the only one killing, right? I mean, you have the different ones.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Cenobites that actually do stuff. I think Pinhead has the most in Hellraiser 3. I want to say is the one he has the most kills in, but don't quote me on that. I think it's 3.
Any of those kind of stand out to you? Surprise you?
I was gonna say Michael Myers stands out the most to me because he has the highest count. But thinking about it, he does have the newest of the films come out because
Halloween Kills he has to have a ton alone.
Yeah, that movie is just carnage candy for people who love that kind of stuff. So yeah, he does have a bunch. He has a bunch of movies. He has a bunch of kills, especially coming out of that last movie. But also, you would, with Chucky being what he is, I would expect him to have a few more. But then I think about it, and he doesn't really get a lot of kills each movie, to be honest. He really doesn't. So, and then even with the show, I think they were pretty limited to one. I think it was 1 kill an episode. So
I still
that actually does make sense. Oh man, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah,
I was never a huge Chucky fan, though. That's the thing. That's why I was kind of but I need to check it out. It could be.
Have you seen everything else, like all the other movies?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you've seen all the movies, then you should absolutely treat yourself and watch the show. I know it's out on like Blu-ray and stuff now, so you can just buy it. You don't have to worry about trying to stream it somewhere or whatever. The first episode, maybe 2 episodes, are available for you to watch for free on Sci-Fi. You can literally just go to their website and watch at least the first episode. But that's what I did. So yeah, totally, it's definitely worth watching. If you like the last 2 Chucky movies, which would be Cult and man, what was the other one called?
I didn't say I liked them. I said I seen them.
Right. Well, if you watched Curse and Cult and didn't absolutely despise them, you should absolutely watch the show. It's actually really good. The new characters make sense. You have returning legacy characters as well, so it's totally worth your time.
So I looked up Michael's kill count from Halloween Kills. It says whopping total of at least 27 kills during the event of it.
I mean, that makes sense.
And then this thing said from Dead Meat Wiki says over the course of 8 movies, excluding Rob Zombie remakes, Michael has killed 92 people. Rob Zombie, he definitely ups it. Dude, this is crazy. So he probably is the most. He has to have the highest kill count. And like you said, the newest trilogy. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. I'm kind of shocked by Ghostface a little bit. I figured his would be a little higher.
I mean, there's always a small group of people in the movies that are targeted. So it makes sense that his isn't that high. But also, it's always
all the Freddy movies.
I mean, Freddy usually averages like 4 per movie. So that makes sense.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to briefly touch on it. I thought it was interesting. And I had to at least read it. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure how accurate it is. Probably is pretty close, I would imagine. So, interesting, though. Interesting little fact. But now, we're going to go ahead and get into what we always start our episodes with after I had a little nice run on that. And we like to know what everybody has been watching, reading, listening to, or playing lately. And we do this every episode. It's a good way to kick off the episode and kind of break the ice and get things rolling. And I'll get it started this week with my stuff. I've been into Diablo Immortal. I've been playing that. It's been pretty fun. Me and the missus have been playing. I've been enjoying it. I'm a fan of the franchise and the series and stuff, and so getting back into that has been fun. I've been playing it both on mobile and PC, and PC is a little wonky at times, which it is a mobile port. I know it's a mobile game on PC. But it's just a little weird on mouse and keyboard at times, but not too bad. But I still had a lot of fun with it. Been playing a Necromancer and just going through doing stuff. I haven't there's a lot about pay to win with that game, and I haven't really experienced that yet because I've just not invested a single dime in it, and I've just been playing along and leveling and doing my thing and whatever. A lot of cosmetics you can buy and stuff like that, but it's been pretty fun so far. I've enjoyed it. And other than that, well, it also has got me excited for Diablo 4. But other than that, I've been watching Love, Death, and Robots because I'm behind. And I'm only like 5 episodes in. 5 episodes in. So I have 4 episodes to go, I believe. And I always enjoy the show. I really like the different art styles and the different styles in each episode that the show brings. And so I have 2 episodes that right now are my favorites. Again, I haven't finished the whole 3rd season, but the 2 episodes are The Night of the Many Dead. I was laughing the whole time. It's these tiny little zombies running around and like just tiny figures running around with like little chipmunk style voices, and it was just hilarious. Like it is
pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. Like there was a FedEx van that rode by that said "fucks," and just there's just so much stupid stuff that I just laughed a lot. And then also Kill Team Kill. I really liked the animation of it. It was over the top. It was hilarious. The best part is probably a line near the end where a character is dying and he says, he gets his guy, like his commanding officer or whatever closer. And he's like, tell my wife I screwed her sister.
Yeah, I remember
Instead
that.
Instead of saying like, tell my wife I love her. And it's over the top. It's hilarious. Next one I've seen after that I probably really liked would have been Bad Traveling, which had this ginormous crab. I really liked the animation in it and just the way it was done. I thought it was really cool. And
That
I'm
was one of
sure
my
you
favorites.
love this show because of like the different art styles and the way they're done, right? Like I have a feeling you just really get
Absolutely.
into it.
Absolutely. I really enjoy going through each season and seeing what they have to offer, seeing what the different teams want to bring us as far as story and art style goes. So I had a lot of fun with this one. It wasn't my favorite season for sure, but I really did enjoy some of the episodes. And the one that you mentioned with the crab was definitely one of my favorites. I really enjoyed the story for that because the story doesn't start off giving you all the answers you need, but when you get to the end of it, you realize that the main guy, who took the crab to the wrong place is the only good person essentially on the entire crew. Everybody else was pretty much willing to condemn and damn all of the other people on the island it wanted to go to just so they could live. And that guy was pretty steadfast with what he wanted to do, and he said no. So I really like that.
What season was it that had the werewolf soldier guy? Was that one?
That was the first one, yeah.
That was a really cool episode. I like that one. I don't know why it made me think of that, but like out of nowhere. Remember that one? That one sticks out in my mind.
Understandable. It's kind of like it's like an all animated Black Mirror essentially.
Yeah. It's a cool show though. If you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. The episodes range from like 20 minutes to like 5-7 minutes. Like each episode could vary depending on what the story is and stuff, but it's really cool. Definitely worth a watch going through. Each one's its own style, own story. It's pretty awesome. I like it. I enjoy it. But other than that, I've also been watching Obi Wan, and I have watched The Boys, which we will discuss that here momentarily. But we need to know what Christian's been watching, reading, listening to, or playing. So, Christian, what do you got this week?
So this week I have redeemed myself. Essentially, I have finally finished Stranger Things. All they have to offer so far, up until the moment of this recording. So I've finished the first, I guess, volume of season 4, and I have some thoughts. I got some thoughts.
Can I offer a hot take right off the bat?
Absolutely.
I'm mad, and I'm disappointed a little bit, and this is probably not going to be a popular opinion.
What
So
are you
I
mad
think
about?
they've wait. What?
I'm curious. What are you mad about?
I think they've announced there's a 5th season. Is this true?
Yeah, it is confirmed. Season 5 is going to be the final season.
I don't want it. I wanted going into this season and the way everything was. I was ready for the finale. Like I was preparing in my head. I'm like, this is it. This is the final season of Stranger Things, and I was hyped up. And it was delivering to me. And now they're like, oh, there's a 5th season coming. And what, maybe a spinoff? I'm like,
I'm not so the spinoff I'm not too keen on. I don't know a whole lot about it, so
I don't know anything about
false
it.
information.
I just heard they were having one. I don't know if it's even true or not, but
I mean, I hope not, because that would be kind of annoying. But there definitely is a season 5. Season 5 filmed like back to back, so they should be done filming season 5. They just have to like edit it and do all the post stuff. So
they did it with season 4. Is that what you said?
Yeah, they filmed those back to back.
How do you feel about another season?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, because we're not done with this season, that I don't like. Here's the thing. I remember last week saying something to the effect of like I wasn't really that interested in seeing this current season because it had been so long, and I was kind of like out of the zone for Stranger Things. And a lot of that is still true, but once you get into this season, once you get past like the first few episodes, the story starts to open up in a way where you actually care about some of the stories. Now, with that said, I definitely didn't care about everybody in their stories for sure, but there were some stories that I did care about. So as far as season 5 goes, like if it actually wraps the story up completely, then sure. But I think they're going to do something similar than they did to this one. So I think it's going to be a few episodes, but they're just really long, like movies each time. I think from what I'm understanding, there's going to be an episode that's like 2 hours, over 2 hours long, for one of the episodes. And I'm just like, whatever,
part
man,
2
whatever it
of
takes.
this season?
Yeah, part 2 of this season.
Mrs. Sin saw a runtime. I think the first episode of part 2 is like an hour and a half, somewhere around there. The second episode is like 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah,
It's
so that
like
makes a lot of
crazy
sense.
long.
But yeah, but I mean, realistically, it makes the most sense because to break it up into a bunch of 1 hour episodes would just run the season on.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
but
I'm cool
also
with it.
though, like, I mean, yeah, you're not. It's the way that I feel about it is if they want super long episodes, whatever. I mean, they got the time, they got the money, and they have the people's attention, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. So I'm just ready to. I'm ready for the story to come to a close.
Yeah.
With that said, though, uh,
I'm just
was that the only
disappointed because
hot
I
take?
really thought it was coming to a close this time. Like, I was ready for, like, I want some death and, like, some sadness, but I want closure, I feel like. And now knowing that I'm not going to get my full closure this season after I thought I was is a little disappointing. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it. But, yeah, I mean, do you get what I'm saying, though? You're kind of, like, excited for
I
it?
get exactly what you're saying. I'll get into that when I start talking about how I feel about the season itself.
All right,
So,
let's get it.
And I'll jump right into it. So, I'm going to start off by saying who I think's gonna die in this season, and it's not necessarily like a main character; it's a newer character. So Eddie is one of my new favorite characters, but they also set him up immediately to let you know that he's gonna sacrifice himself, because even at the first episode when they start talking about the D&D game that he's the DM of, right? They're talking about the game, and one of the first things he says is, "It's okay to run, don't be heroes." And he says stuff like that throughout the season, and he talks about how he's a coward and how he runs and how he just figured out that he runs all the time and all that. Like, when you watch the episodes, every time they bring up his character, when they find him right at Reefer Rick's house, right? When they find him at Reefer Rick's, one of the first things that he talks about is that he just ran, he took off. And then when they see him again after the whole boat incident, they talk about how he talks about how he ran and how all the other girls went after Steve. And he wouldn't have done that, but he didn't want to be the only person stuck on the boat not going, so he ended up going. But he kind of just fell in. So a bunch of things like that are happening in the season. So they're absolutely setting him up to have a really heroic moment, like a real hero moment where he sacrifices himself, where he doesn't run, where he steadfast. But every single season, we have somebody that does that without powers. They get killed.
Bob.
So Bob, Billy,
pretty much all your cameo people for the most part. Well, Billy had 2 seasons, I think. So
yeah, he did have 2 seasons. Even Hopper, but we know Hopper isn't dead, but like that even happened to him when he stood up and wanted to be heroic. We saw what happened to him. So that's what's going on. I know last week I was really harping on Mike really hard, saying how I hated Mike this season. And now that I've watched the entirety of what they have to offer this season so far, I gotta say, man, my mind has not changed. Mike sucks.
I was about to say, there's nothing to change your mind from that. Like, if you were about to make an argument, like, what the hell did you watch?
No, dude, Mike sucks. I hate him less, for sure. I don't hate him as much, but he still really sucks. And the reason why I say that is because his storyline is hella weak sauce, dude. He doesn't tell 11 I love you, but all he did when he was a kid was talk about how much he loved 11, essentially, like without saying those words, essentially, because he was like, what, 8, 10, whatever?
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't have a reason to not say it. And even the excuse that he gave, or that Will gave to him, sometimes saying that makes you feel like they'll reject you and they'll lose you. There is no reason for any character, Mike included, to think for 1 second that Elle is going to reject that love. Literally, Mike is everything to her. Everything. And we see that throughout the season. That's why she's doing the lying stuff when she talks about her life there, when she talks about her friends there, what they do and going to parties. She wants to be cool because she wants Mike to continually be interested in her and not lose that interest, not lose that love. So when we get the reveal that it's just from Mike, no love Mike, like, that's just so weak to me, dude. I was pissed about that. I was like, seriously? I understand that they're kids. I get that. I know that they're in high school now and this and that, but like that is low hanging fruit to me. And I'm gonna double down on what I said about Lucas. Lucas' character is dope, man. Like he makes sense. He didn't betray his friends. He led those bullies away. With their whole satanic panic thing. I love that. I love that about Lucas's character. I really enjoyed that. Um, Hopper, man, seeing Hopper in the prison story was actually really interesting. I actually cared about that. That could have been a whole thing. Like, obviously, sans all the other people, just a show about a guy trying to escape prison is interesting. Like, that makes me think of the Shawshank Redemption and stuff. So, yeah, that was a great story. And then, like I already talked about Eddie, I think Eddie's like the best boy aside from Steve. And the episode that we get the
Dustin.
cliffhanger. No. I totally mean Steve right now.
No, you said
So
best boy
the
other inside from Steve.
yeah. I guess you're correct. So yeah,
Can't forget Dustin. Dude,
definitely,
Dustin's MVP. I'm staying there. I love
dude.
Dustin.
Nobody with a brain or a heart or a soul or alive can dislike Dustin. Dustin's fantastic, and I'll get to him in a minute. But with Steve, Dustin gets his moments in every single season. He is a staple. He is the heart of the group. He is the brain of the group. He brings everyone together. Like they need Dustin no matter what.
Yep.
Steve, however, they really need him to be a babysitter. And I like that he says that a bunch in this season. I don't want to be the babysitter. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing that.
And he
then
gets his
hops
ass
on the
kicked.
boat. Exactly. Every season. And that
Yeah,
happened
no
again
joke. He
this
literally
week.
gets beat up every season.
And this season doesn't change a thing because he gets beat up in this season as well. And in this one, not only does he get beat up, but he almost dies again for those, I guess we're going to call them demobats. Is what we'll just call them. It just makes sense. Demogorgon, demodogs, demobats. We'll just say that. So the demobats almost eat him in one episode, but I knew he wasn't going to die because they wouldn't just leave Steve getting bit for a cliffhanger like that. They would just show him getting killed. And also, we already knew from earlier in the episode that the other kids, the other people, hopped in to make sure that he was going to survive. So I knew that he was going to live, but I did, however, look over and say, if Steve dies, dude, the show is dead to me. And
I like
and
Steve a
I
lot.
meant that. Dude. Steve is great, man, and there's
He's
a
had
lot
a
of
good
shipping
character
this
arc
season.
too. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, he usually does, and every season he does.
Well, I mean, he went from
They
what the
also,
douchebag popular kid in season 1 to look at like what he's turned into now.
Mhm.
And he does get his
and
ass
he's
kicked
going
every season. I think he's won one fight because it's a joke in like season 3. I think when they're fighting like the Russians or something, he knocks him out, and Dustin's like, "You want to fight?"
That's right, and I mean that's like barely even a thing too.
Yeah.
But with all that said, though, man, like I just really enjoy Steve's character. He's really fun. Him and Dustin are like best friends, and it makes sense. It's great. I love everybody loves their story and how that goes. But even with that, I really enjoyed. All the girls going to his rescue with Eddie, right? Like all of them jumping in to help him was great, and going to Dustin, like I said, Dustin's the heart of the group. I never have fear for Dustin. I just never do. I always feel like he's going to make it out. However, though, with Eddie, man, like I said before, I think he's totally gonna get killed by the end of this, man. I just feel it. I hope I'm wrong because I really like his character, but we'll see. With 11, like 11's story wasn't nearly as fun as I was hoping it was going to be because every season she gets separated from the group, and it's just annoying. Like Will was getting kidnapped by the Upside Down, so that made a little bit more sense. I get that, but dude, every season though, Elle has to like go and do a thing. She has to have her own side mission, and like though I wasn't bored with it, I just didn't expect her to be separated from everyone again, just for them to do everything in their power to go and find her anyway. But seeing her backstory when she was like younger, if that makes sense, that was nice. I really liked seeing the story with one or Vecna, however we want to call him. I really love seeing what was happening to all the kids in there. But I mean, I called it pretty early. As soon as we saw uh, one, I can't remember his actual name right now. I know his last name's Crowley, but I can't remember his first name right now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll just call him Vecna. We'll call him young Vecna. Like as soon as we saw him, I knew who he was going to be for a couple of reasons. One, we've never seen or heard of this character before. And usually in shows like this that are long running, if they introduce you a brand new character that's not 100% friendly, like there's a reason for that. And when he came up, he's obviously really creepy, but he's also super nice, but only to 11. If you like, so that also let me know, like, obviously we can't trust this dude because he legit only talks to 11. So I was like, yeah, this dude's gonna end up being Vecna, bro. And then we get the backstory for his dad, like Victor or whatever his name is. I can't remember. The nice cameo that we get from Robert Englund, and then I love how we see that backstory, and then we see what really happened later on when we get Vecna's actual backstory. But I'm gonna ask you: have you seen the movie The Watchmen or read the comic?
I've watched the movie. Yes.
Okay. Did you notice how much of the imagery was exactly the same for how Dr. Manhattan becomes Dr. Manhattan and how Vecna becomes Vecna? In the movie, they use the same
Oh,
song.
you talking about like him flying through like the upside down or whatever, like
All of it. I
getting
mean, I'm
shocked
all
and
of
all
it. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. When he's telling Nancy, because Nancy gets essentially yeeted into the upside down by like right at Vecna's house, right? She gets yoked, right? And that was really funny. So she's about to get straight bamboozled, which I can't wait to see. And he just kind of spills her his entire backstory for no reason. He's just
Because that's a villain thing to
pontificating,
do. You got to tell everybody your entire origin.
yeah, he's just straight up pontificating, and we haven't gotten that in any season because all the creatures on the upside down can't really talk, right? They take over people and they'll speak through them a little bit, but we don't really just get a villain saying everything. So that's, that was cool, that was interesting. But I noticed like clocks are a part of his story, just like Dr. Manhattan. The imagery for that was practically the exact same. The song that they used in the movie for Watchmen and in the episode for this when he's explaining stuff to Nancy was exactly the same.
Really?
Yeah, it was the same song. You got to go back and check it out. It's the same song. So we see that, we hear that, and then also without the clocks, the way that the electricity is going through him when he's getting hit by lightning, when he's going through the upside down, it's very similar to the way it was for Dr. Manhattan. Even when he like starts getting burned and everything, it's very similar to Dr. Manhattan. Obviously, it's highly influenced by Freddy Krueger, but Dr. Manhattan as well. So that
Huh.
just makes that shows you like how strong this character is supposed to be because that imagery was just so similar. And with that said, with me talking about how cool Vecna is, I still believe that the Mind Flayer is the main enemy because if you notice, once one got to the upside down, it was nothingness essentially, and I believe that's because the Mind Flayer didn't have what he needed in order to shape the world, and that's why when you go into the Upside Down, they notice that the time is different. It was from years ago when Will first uh, got kidnapped and gone into the Upside Down. It's still in that time, and I think that moment is when the Mind Flayer was able to essentially create everything that we see in the Upside Down that we've seen in all the past seasons. It was that moment when 11 opened up the portal to send number one through the portal to the upside down. That was the moment. It was like the big bang, if you will, for the upside down that created all this stuff. And then the Mind Flayer kind of latched on to all that because if we're going by continuity, when 11 sends him through, that's the same day essentially that she like gets out or whatever. No, I'm sorry, she doesn't escape that day. That's the same day that Will gets kidnapped. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. So with all that said, like it all comes back to season one at the end, and I really really enjoyed seeing that. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was just awesome to see. So, man, I'm just super excited to see how they actually end it. But then you got the one cop getting their agent, I guess, getting tortured by the military so he can give up where 11 is. And he's like, just don't hurt her. And then he like gives that up. So we got to have a whole episode where the military is after her again, and then they get there, and then the kids are on their way there, and then they got to meet up again. Then they got to go all the way back to Hawkins. So like it's just a big. It reminds me of Legend of Zelda backtracking. You have to go back to the same level over and over and over again. But I'm still excited to see it. I want it to be done. And yeah, you're correct. Season 5 is confirmed. They've already filmed it. It's going to be the last season. So I just want to know how this is going to end and what season 5 is talking about, so it can be done. And also, did you see the wonky CGI they had for the little girl version of 11 when they just kind of like superimposed Millie Bobby Brown's face on this child?
Have you seen the child? Kind of looks like a young 11, but I mean, yeah, they definitely tweaked.
She totally does. And they're in the credits and everything. It was just really funny that some of the moments looked really weird and other moments looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting.
So I just looked up something because you kind of blew my mind with The Watchmen. I didn't even think about that. So this season, and correct me if I'm wrong, this season of Stranger Things is set in 86, right?
Yeah.
Watchmen come out 86, 87. Is it possible that this is like them playing to that era and bringing that in, like you said?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at 100%, they talk about like all the kids are constantly talking about being superheroes and stuff, and 11 does really it all the time, and there's a reason for that.
That's really dope. I didn't think about that, and that's actually a really cool point you brought up. Damn, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Not gonna lie. I have a twist for you. I don't think it'll happen just because I don't see them doing it, but hear me out.
So before you say that, it is confirmed from the actor that the character in the show Will is a queer character, and he's definitely into Mike. He was doing an interview and kind of spilled the beans on that. So there we go.
So he dropped some plots stuff for us.
He didn't mention the Mike aspect of it. He just said that the character is a queer coded character. So we do have that confirmed. We'll see how it plays out, though. We'll see what the painting is and all that.
It's Mike. It has to be Mike. What else could it be?
I agree with you. I mean, we don't know.
Is it him and Mike like doing like the finger touch or something? Like, what else could it be?
Doing the finger touch.
That's what I'm talking about?
Either way.
Dude, what if it's like E.T.? What if they're like doing that? Okay, never mind. I'm going off on tangent. Anyway, so yeah, we kind of expected that. You could kind of see the writing on the wall with how his character was. So I think it's Mike. He's into Mike. It'd be hilarious if it's Steve. He's like, by the way, it's not you, Mike. It's Steve. And Steve's like, what? Wait, what? Or Hopper. What if it's Hopper? Just like, wait, no. That's a no.
Oh, no. I hope that let's move. I don't like that. Let's move on.
I don't like it either. I'm just trying to really go down the rabbit hole. Okay. No, crazy twist. What if this happened? So when I heard about them doing season 5, you've had Demi Gorgon, and then I don't remember what 2 was again. I forgot it. At the start of it wasn't the Mind Flayer. Mind Flayer's 3. And then now you have Vecna. Vecna is by far the coolest villain they've had, in my opinion. I still love Vecna. Vecna's awesome.
In the second season, you had like the Misty kind of thing before the Mind Flayer had a full shape.
Okay. Misty
Remember
thing.
that? It was like the weird Misty Cloud thing.
Misty Cloud thing. Got it. We got Twister. Understood. What if in the final season, after a Vecna battle, L is it? L is the final boss.
I mean,
in some kind of Game of Thrones twist, we take L and they have to stop her because she's the last link. And I
mean, I would kind of be into it, but I think that the people that are the Duffer Brothers definitely watched Game of Thrones, and I highly doubt that they're going to repeat the same mistake.
But it'd be kind of crazy to like spin the show on its head a little bit and be like, all right, instead of upside down like now, or maybe she gets trapped upside down and she becomes a Vecna-like character or something. I don't know.
I mean, that could be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably won't happen. So you're pretty happy with it all in all, though?
I mean, yeah, I think I am. I finally watched it all. I'm a lot happier with it. I still think that it needs to be over, like actually over,
Yeah.
because this is one of those shows that's really good, but it's really easy to run something that's good into the ground.
I'm
Like,
scared they're going to
think
do
of
that
Marvel.
for money
Yeah, think of
purposes.
Marvel, dude. Like Marvel has a lot of really good stuff. It started off amazing. I still like Marvel. Don't get me wrong, but
Christian
people
hates Marvel
talk about
confirmed?
no, I don't. People talk about superhero fatigue a lot, and like I'm one of those people who I've been reading comics since I was like 6, 7 years old. So if anybody was going to have superhero fatigue, it was going to be this guy. But the thing is, the reason why I still love superhero stuff is because there's still the opportunity that characters I love and grew up with reading, can see the big screen, see the light of day. Like Blue Beetle, for an example. I love Blue Beetle, but so many people don't know who that is. So now that he's getting the movie, he'll get more spotlight. He'll be in more shit, which is cool. He'll get merch, which is awesome because I would totally buy some Blue Beetle merch. But with that said, I don't want it just for him. There's plenty of characters out there that I think are 100% worthy of having merchandise and movies, TV shows, what have you, video games, all of that stuff. Like people thought the same about Deadpool before he got a movie, and I really, really enjoy that kind of aspect of it. So that's why I don't necessarily have fatigue for these movies. But what I do get fatigued about is the formula that a lot of the companies, namely Marvel, choose to do. Every movie is going to be funny. Every movie that starts off now, it's going to have an origin story that's kind of now it's going to be a Disney Plus show. If the characters are younger, you know what they're going to do with those, and we'll talk about those at another time because it's a big tangent. But I just get tired of the routine. I want them to shake things up a little bit, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm totally calling myself out because I love slasher films, and a lot of slasher films are the same. You got a mass killer out there taking out some teens. The teens are most of the time really dumb. You got a final girl who's not as dumb as the other ones, or she's just actually smart and she, wins the day. So I totally understand that there is a formula that you follow for a lot of these things, but I would like to see superhero movies be a little bit more daring. But other than that, I'm excited to see what's to come for these kind of things.
All right. So I think that's going to wrap up Stranger Things. I really did like
Yeah, man.
part one of season 4. I'm excited to see what the second part is, and I hope it concludes well because it definitely has a chance to. It'll be up there with season 1. Season 1's going to hold a special place, and it's going to be hard to top season 1.
Oh, I totally forgot about something I meant to say. And this might be a hot take.
Oh,
and if
God.
it is, cool. If not, whatever. But I totally want all of the teenagers that are a part of the basketball team to get got because I hate them, like, especially the main guy, dude. He sucks so bad. I can't believe that in every single season the kids have been telling the adults what's really going on with the monsters and the upside down and L and all this stuff, and nobody ever listens. But then you get this guy, he brings religion into it, and then everybody's on his side. I absolutely hate it. And the thing is, I hate it so much because it really happens. That shit really happened a lot in the late 80s. It happened in the 90s. It's happening again kind of now. Every time people kind of bring religion and the Bible into an argument that they're having, it seems to give them a little bit more clout, which I really hate. Like, just think for yourself and make up your own mind, your own decisions. But 100% want all those kids to get got, especially the main guy. He's so annoying. I can't believe that we're still following this dude's story. Ugh.
You
Anyway,
sound like
that was
me
the last
watching
thing.
any show ever. I just start. I'm like, all right, when are they gonna get taken out? I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm ruthless. For some reason, it shows. I'm just like, all right, I'm done with you. Who's taking them out?
Maybe you're just getting older and jaded, man. That's all it is.
I am pretty
You're a
damn
little
old.
jaded now.
I mean, it sounds like you're the same way though, so you can't make fun of me.
I'm definitely jaded. I'll tell you right now. I am jaded. I'm bitter. I'm old. The speech that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man gave Tom Holland Spider-Man, that is 100% me. I got bitter. That is me 100%.
Well, speaking of old and bitter, I guess we could segue to our next topic. that we've been watching, which would be
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Great segue, dog.
All right, Obi-Wan, episode 4. Yeah.
4, yeah.
All right, I'll just start and then I'll let you go in. There was a few things I liked in it. All in all, it was kind of a forgettable episode for me. They really didn't even have anything that grabbed me or like got my attention. I will say the tomb, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm doing the little quotations where they had, I guess, like Jedi they had taken out or slain or whatever, was really cool. That was about it. That's all I barely got. Like, I know it's just pretty much a filler episode getting ready. I'm expecting next week's episode to be a banger. I hope. Because usually, like you said, the episode before the finale is usually really good. So we'll see. What did you think about it?
So, I mean, I'm pretty similar to you, man. Like, I don't dislike Obi-Wan, but I don't love Obi-Wan. And I mean the show, not the character. I love Obi-Wan the character, but the show, it's fun to see. It's more Star Wars entertainment, but it's not the best thing I've ever seen. I kind of feel similar to the show that I felt to Boba Fett, like the Book of Boba Fett. I wasn't really into the Book of Boba Fett, but I still watched it. And I actually, you know what? I'm lying right now because I totally never finished the Book of Boba Fett. It just got boring. But Obi-Wan keeps me in it, and I'm trying to decide, am I into Obi-Wan, the show, because I just really like the character that much, and I love Vader, so I want to see more of him, or because I like the show more? And I want to say I think nostalgia is really what's taken over for me here. With that said, though, I don't hate the show. I really don't. It's just not the best.
There's been good episodes in parts, but mainly with Vader. Like, when Vader's in, it's usually the highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, when he came in at the end of this episode, that's how you do Vader in a show so you don't fatigue the character. You bring him in at the very end of the show. He's pissed off. He's choking this woman out. He's getting ready to kill her. She drops some information that he kind of can use. He lets her live. He walks off. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you need. I really, really enjoy that. I looked into it after we talked about it last week with people really hating the characters and the actress Moses that plays Reva, the third sister.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've seen this more, and I saw Obi-Wan or Ian McGregor's, I've seen his response to the really toxic fandom and whatnot, saying that there's no place for that kind of hate and racism in the Star Wars fandom. And I agree 100%. I do not hate Reva's character. Here's the thing. I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago, actually, last weekend, about Reva's character. And they said something that made me think. And what they said was, I really hate her. The actress is overdoing it. She's overselling it. She doesn't know what show she's in, all that. And I answered that with this. If you've liked any of the episode, the original, not the original trilogy, but the episode 1, 2, and 3, if you liked Anakin's character at all in those movies, if you liked Kylo Ren at all in those movies, then you like Reva, because she's the same character. She's the same as Kylo Ren. She's the same as Anakin when he's being just, Hayden Christensen yucking it up, bro. Like, for an example, episode 3, don't make me kill you, like that kind of stuff. Like, when Obi-Wan's telling him, like, don't do it, Anakin, I have the higher ground. He's like, you underestimate my power. And he does like a sick backflip and gets all his legs and arms cut off, dude. Like, that's the kind of energy that Moses is bringing as Reva. So if you can look at those movies, with Hayden Christensen as Anakin before he's Vader, if you can look at those films and like that, if you can look at the newest trilogy and like Kylo Ren's character, then you by proxy like Reva. She is cut from the exact same cloth. Her character is perfectly set up to be this overly ambitious, yelling character for the Order or whatever, that turncoats at the end and then probably dies, because we don't see anything else of her character. So I highly, highly doubt that Reva is going to just
She'll
make
probably
it
be
out
how
at the end of
Obi-Wan
this.
gets away or something.
Yeah, I mean, I fully believe that she's going to turncoat. I fully believe that that's what's going to happen with that.
A conflicted Jedi
And
that's a Sith Jedi doesn't know where they. Yeah,
I mean, the same shit happened with Vader, dude. Like
yeah,
Luke got in his head, and then he like saved him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Threw Palpatine down the thing, and like, come on, bro. Like, if you liked any of that stuff, how can you sit there and shit on Reva? She's literally doing the same thing, but. And she's doing the same thing. She's is it because she's like a person of color? Is that what the thing is? Because here's the thing, dude, when the newest trilogy came out, like the Last Jedi, whatever, all those, we don't even have to talk about it. You know what I'm talking about. The stuff, the Rey films and Kylo films, when that came out, I'll never ever forget how I felt when I saw Episode 7. I think Episode 7. I forget what it's called right now. I really don't care about these films too much. But I remember watching the trailers and seeing Finn and seeing that he was a stormtrooper and seeing that he, went to the light side and seeing him with the lightsaber and being like, oh my God, not only do we have a new character in Star Wars to follow that needs to get, trained on the Force, but it's a black dude. This is going to be sick. I can't wait to see this. We haven't seen this in a while. The last black character we had was Mace Windu, and he just got lightninged out of a window, which was such a terrible death, right? So this happens, and I was so excited. Then we get to the movie, and he's fighting Kylo Ren, and Kylo's like, traitor! Like, I love all of that. I got goosebumps when that happened, dude. And then he gets cut in the back, and he's knocked out, and then Rey just magically force pulls the lightsaber to her, and she's the main character now. I wasn't mad that it was a female character. I wasn't mad that she just magically knew how to use the Force all of a sudden, even though they've never shown her being Force sensitive. That was fine to me. What bothered me is you sold me on this character being the main guy. You sold me on there being a person of color who was going to come in and really do some shit. And you lied to me, dude. You tricked me. You betrayed my trust. And then the subsequent movies that followed after that, you totally had Finn go on a side mission that meant nothing, and it's like universally hated, that movie, right, where he goes on the side mission with, I don't even remember the character's name, and then
The
he
second
doesn't
one?
see
You
Rey
talking
for
about the
the
second
entire
of
movie.
the new trilogy?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one was a huge letdown.
Exactly. So you do that, and then in the third movie where you could redeem yourselves, you don't. Finn's still pretty lame. He's still just kind of there. Poe Dameron's just Poe Dameron. The only reason why we like him is because it's Oscar Isaac and he's kind of funny. That's the only reason why we care. And he's got BB-8, I believe. So like another droid for us to look at. But then in that movie, you also have the return of R2 and C-3PO. So if you bring in C-3PO and R2, I don't give a shit about any of the other droids because those are my droids, right? And I know I sound like an old man right now. I totally get that. But
You gonna yell at kids and tell them to get off your lawn too?
I mean, yeah, actually, get off my lawn with that new trilogy crap. And here's the thing: I don't hate the new trilogy, but I don't like it either. And the way that it starts, the way that they show me what they're gonna do with the characters and like have Finn be the hero, I was just so ready to have that. But that's not the case. They took that from me, so we didn't have it. Whatever. Then we have to follow Rey, and Rey's, she's not a trash character, but the way that they, I guess, evolve, and you can't see this, but I'm using hardcore air quotes right now. The way that they evolved her character, she trained for a couple of weeks and she's just a badass. She's fighting Kylo and she's just amazing now. She's never been in like real combat. I guess she was with Kylo. So she's fought Kylo before. She's fighting him again. We already know that they're like doomed lovers, right? So that's happening.
Lovers.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just they just let me down, bro. Hardcore let me down. And aside from that, going back to Obi Wan, because I know I just went on a long tangent. The thing about Obi Wan is this: the show is fine. It's not the best show I've ever seen. It's not necessarily where I wanted Star Wars to be right now, but it's fine. It's totally serviceable. Seeing Vader is always going to be cool, no matter what he's in. If it's a video game, if it's Obi Wan,
I think
Kenobi
they're
the
doing a
show.
great
It's gonna
job
be
with
great.
Vader.
Yeah, Vader's
Like
absolutely
you
the
said,
best
they're
part of
not
the show.
overusing Vader. They're giving you enough
Yeah,
because it's not Vader's show, it's Obi Wan, but they give you enough Vader that when Vader shows up, you're like, oh shit, and it's usually him doing some crazy cool stuff.
exactly. And that's exactly how it should be. That's exactly how it should be. And I'm glad that they have it that way. So, with that said, we know because we watched the episode that the droid has a tracker on it or whatever. So they're gonna find everybody and blah blah blah. Are they gonna fight again, Obi Wan and Vader? I mean, it's very possible that they could totally fight again. Do I want them to fight again? The old school fan of me doesn't want them to fight again because it kind of diminishes the fight from A New Hope. But I need Obi Wan to kind of redeem himself for what he did the first time. He just kind of sat there and got toyed with, and then he got burned, which was was crazy. But I really just I'm hoping that Disney doesn't do what they did with what they did with Moon Knight. We get a really cool episode, and then you get to the end of it, and it's just like, I mean, it happened, and seeing what's her name in her costume was really cool. But other than that, like, they just kind of set everything up for a new season. Like, I don't want them to have this season of Obi-Wan set up for another season of Obi-Wan, for another show in the Star Wars universe to come out. Like, I don't want that.
I mean, do you
want
think they
this to
could get
be.
them to come back to do another season? I guess they could throw enough money at them because they're Disney to probably do it.
My thing is this, man. Like, what's the story at this point? Like, they kind of already jumped the gun on a lot of things. Like, I know that I've talked about this a couple of times, reading the Obi-Wan, reading the Darth Vader comic and all that. Like, the whole thing for me was like, nobody knew that Anakin was Vader, right? That was why it was so cool. That was why it was so nice to see. Like, Obi-Wan knew in A New Hope, so I mean, I can let that part go, but the way that he finds out in this was just not. It just wasn't as cool to me. But I let it go. I let it go. I watched the show, just kept going, powering through it. It's fine. I don't really know what the story would be. I mean, we got the Leia story. We see why Leia is such a badass when she grows up. It makes sense to me. But aside from that, like, what else is Obi-Wan gonna do in the story? He can't just go out here using the Force a whole bunch, in subsequent seasons of this show, because then he'll just get found again. But we know that he can't get found and captured and killed because he's in A New Hope, and they can't break that continuity. So, with that said, what exactly is there for him left to do after this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
he kind of just becomes old Ben after this. So he doesn't need another season. It's supposed to be self-contained. It's supposed to be its own thing. It's supposed to be a fun thing for you to watch. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they don't take that away from us.
Next, they give us a
But
Vader show.
I would love a Vader show, but I would also be afraid for a Vader show because it could easily be the Obi-Wan show again and not even be about Vader, because Obi-Wan is not about Obi-Wan. It's about Reva. And I think that's another
And
thing that
Leia,
really
I
pissed
feel like.
off. Well, I mean, Leia's in it, but it's not really about Leia because Leia. So here's my hot take, man, and I may
Oh,
have
God.
said this on the last time we were here, but I really don't like the way Leia is written. But with that said, I don't really like the way most of the characters are written in this show. The writing is just not great. And with the money and fans and all that are behind Star Wars all the time, you can't afford to have a story that's weak. So I'm not saying that the story is just super weak sauce. What I'm saying is the writing isn't great. It's really not. It seems like they had the first draft of a show and they went with it, and the actors are putting in work. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think that people are just acting horribly in this, but it's not great. So that's my problem. Anyway, with that said, though, those are my thoughts on Obi-Wan episode 4. It was serviceable. Nothing really cool happened. We get to see him use his lightsaber again. There was that really cool scene where it's complete pitch black, but his blue lightsaber lights up, and we see him take out those stormtroopers, and then we see him blocking bullets and stuff again, which was nice. But aside from him, just kind of the end of the episode, the tail end from the episode, there wasn't really much going on.
Yeah.
So
It
I'm
was a
hoping.
forgettable episode, honestly.
Absolutely. I agree with you, man. It was forgettable. It wasn't the best thing I've ever seen. So I'm hoping that gets better later.
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, I have a feeling this next episode is going to be probably the best. And then the finale will hopefully be okay. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Hopefully it ends strong, but we'll see. But we're going to transition to something else that's strong, and that would be the nudity in The Boys. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to talk about The Boys. Season 3. I believe we're going to keep it to just the first episode this.
I mean, we might as well just talk about what we've seen so far. I think that's fine.
Okay. All right. I mean,
unless you don't want to.
I mean, I don't know. The time we're already approaching an hour because somebody had to go in on Star Wars and hate everybody.
All right, that's true. All right, so let's just do episode 1.
Episode 1 has. Oh my God. All right. Look, I'm just gonna go all in on it right here. I had to show a buddy of ours that watches it. I was like, look, I need you to watch the first 15 minutes of The Boys. And they're like, oh, is it good? And I was like, I need you to watch the first 15 minutes of The Boys. And so I watched them really closely for like the first half. And they kept looking at me like, am I supposed to see something yet? Like, it's The Boys. And then it happens. If you don't know what happened and you haven't seen The Boys, you might not need to listen to this part. But essentially in the first episode, there's a character called the Termite. And the Termite is essentially Ant-Man. So he can turn into a miniature version. Well, you meet him by him screwing a Barbie doll. He is humping the shit out of a Barbie doll. And then he turns up normal. And then him and his lover, I guess, or whatever that guy was, go to a room. And they're doing bumps of coke. And while they're doing cocaine, his lover's like, I want you inside of me. So Termite gets naked and then gets small. Like shrinks into little termite size and goes into this dude's dick hole and begins to go through him, like crawling up through the dick hole. Well, then he sneezes from doing coke and blows the guy up. It is over the top. I laughed hysterically. There is something very wrong with me. My wife's face, her mouth is dropped open and she was in shock and I was just laughing hilariously. It is an insane start to the season, and that's pretty much how The Boys goes. I will say this. Homelander, so I'm going to completely like derail off of that part, and I'm going straight to Homelander. Homelander, you hate the character. He is horrible. He is just a horrible person. But at the same time, I can't stop waiting for that ticking time bomb to erupt. I am waiting for the moment he snaps and is like, no one can stop me. I can do what the hell I want. And just starts killing everything. And I cannot wait for that moment. I think there's something wrong with me. Maybe it's like, I'm so used to Superman and being the goody two shoes and seeing Homelander, who's essentially Superman, but kind of not. And I cannot wait for that. Also, so I wanted to ask Christian this. This is a graphic novel, correct?
That's correct.
Is the graphic novel a lot like the show? Or is it pretty different?
All right, so I'm gonna try to say this as quickly as I can. The show is very similar to the graphic novel. However, if you think that what's happening in the show is crazy and too much, don't even think about trying to read the graphic novel.
Now I got to read the graphic novel.
It's like 4 times worse.
Now I definitely got to read it. There's something wrong with me.
Like, let me just say this, and if you don't want spoilers for the comic, then you might want to skip. But here's it right here. So Butcher, his wife Becca, who has the kid or whatever, yeah, that doesn't happen in the comics, because in the comics, the relationship essentially that she has with Homelander is all forced. It is 100% assault.
Is it not in the? It's in the show too, right?
Yeah, but it's a little different. They tamed it a bit, which
because I think that said that's how, like, that was Butcher's original motivation, was it not? It was like Homelander.
Yeah. His original motivation is exactly the motivation from the comic. That's the same. Okay. But she doesn't have, I can't remember the kid's name right now. She doesn't have Ryan. The kid, and he's just like Ryan. Yeah. There's no Ryan, because what happens is She's pregnant with Homelander's kid, and the kid rips itself out of Becca, and Becca dies. And then the baby starts like eye lasering stuff, and Butcher has to kill this baby. Like, it's insane.
Damn.
And that's all the motivation he needs to want to kill Homelander, to destroy Homelander, to end Homelander forever.
I cannot wait for him and Homelander to go to battle. I cannot.
I can't either, man. It's going to be sick. Like I said, the comic is just nasty. It's the best way I can describe it. It's just filthy.
But
like, after I read it, I needed to take a shower. But it was fantastic. It was a great story. So but I'm telling you.
So you're messed up like me.
Yeah, y'all, dude, I'm messed all the way up, 100%. But with that said, it's a fantastic story. It's really cool to see these characters do their thing. I can't wait to see Herogasm that's coming up in this season. Like, oh my goodness, I can't wait.
Wait, what?
Oh, man, Herogasm is this thing where they mentioned it in episode 2 or 3. I forget which episode they mentioned it in, but essentially in the comic, the heroes have this like yearly like thing that they go to that's supposed to be on like Mars or the moon or wherever. I forget where it is. They're supposed to go to this giant hero conference, and they're out of commission for a few days, right? And it's this giant thing that all the heroes go to. But in reality, Vought sets up this like hardcore spring break for all the heroes, and they just literally the thing that you saw with Termite, imagine that, but with all the heroes for like a week. That's what Herogasm is.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's just debauchery, dude. Just pure unadulterated debauchery. It's insane. And everybody's in on it. Everybody's doing it. They do it once a year. It's like a giant party for them. So that and it's the way that Vought keeps them in line, essentially. Like, every year you get to go and do this thing. You get to do whatever you want, literally whatever you want. You can't really get in trouble because, you know, it's all taken care of by Vought, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you what, man, in the first episode of the show, I forget the actor's name. Like, I think it's Carlos Esposito, but the guy that played
Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. The head of Vought, dude, he's way scarier to me than Homelander is.
Dude,
Homelander
he's such
is
a good bad guy. He plays such a good villain.
I've seen him be a good guy before, and I mean, I enjoyed it, but like, I just wanted him to be a bad guy again. And I'm so glad that he is a bad guy again. And dude, I love it, man. I love it. In that first episode, you see him talking to a guy about what he's like. I want to be out of the superhero business in the next 5 years. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, he's not lying. That is true. All of the stuff that he's saying to that guy when the doors are closed like that, all true. He means all of that. But like, the way that he goes about stuff is so shady, man. And like, we'll talk about more of his character later when we talk about later episodes, and like his backstory more so, and like what he's, you know, been into and getting into. But man, the first episode was fantastic. The Termite scene was a shocker for sure. You see, it's
a hell of a way to start a season.
Yeah, dude, Mother's Milk. His daughter is like obsessed with soups, and he has to pretend to be okay with it, but he's really not. And then you see the stepdad. He's dressed like Homelander. Oh my god! And like, dude, we'll talk about the stepdad character more in later episodes. But like, it was just insane to see. And I love that he brings her those clocks to be like Flavor Flav, like those giant necklace clocks, dude. That's hilarious. But yeah, the birthday party and all that you see, and then some more stuff happened too. I'm trying to remember. There's just so much. Huey is like a part of the company now, and he's pretty
like
much
FBI
given
or
the
something,
boys,
right?
Huh?
He's like an FBI or something, FBI agent or something.
He essentially works for Vought now, in a sense. Like he works with not for Vought. I'm so sorry.
I thought it was like FBI's like soup division or something. Like, it's a separate thing.
Yeah, which is not in the comics. It's only for the show, but it's really good the way they have it done. Like, I don't hate anything they do in the show, because everything that they change for the show, they change it either for the better, or they change it so that they can actually air it on a network stations or any streaming station. So it's crazy. And for all the people who think that The Boys isn't crazy, like, Sin was just telling you that termite goes up into a dude's urethra, bro, and blows up. Like, you see full peen in this. Like,
Yeah.
they're not blocking it out.
Wait,
Like, I'm talking
there was
Dr. Manhattan full frontal, bro. It's insane.
I think there was I lost it. There was somebody. 1-star user reviews are outraged by nudity weekly releases for The Boys. I mean, this. If they're just now watching The Boys and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. I mean, come on. Like, what is it? The opening episode, in which it's not nudity, but the opening episode of like season 1 is Huey and his girlfriend time, and she like steps off a sidewalk and gets exploded by a train just running, and he's like, oh shit. Like, the show is just over the top. Like, I don't know why people are flipping out. I guess Karens are just mad, but
I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into when you watch The Boys. So if anybody watching the show commenting saying,
don't
oh
watch
my God,
with kids.
I mean, dude, they tell you that. Like, come on. Yeah. If you're watching this with kids, something's wrong with you, bro.
It's
like,
not your normal superhero show. It's literally like, take your superheroes, like take your Supermans, your Flashes, and then what you see in the comics and what you know is their media image. And now you turn the lights off and you see behind the scenes of them, and this is like them just being literally, for the most part, most of them are just pieces of shit. They're just horrible people.
Yeah.
Like, power hungry. They can do what they want. They don't care. They don't care about you. God, Homelander, I don't know why. I'm caught up on him, and I'm not huge into Superman. But I think I'm just waiting on the snap. Like, with everything, I'm just waiting on that snap, and I want him just to go crazy. I'm also, and I'm mad at you over this, Christian. This is all your fault. We talked about The Boys, I think, when it first came out. We were texting about it. And I was curious about Black Noir. And you were like, oh, I can't tell you anything. It'll ruin it. I have been waiting now. This is the 3rd season, and I want to know what I'm waiting for. And it's making me mad.
Well, so we're not on that episode yet, but
are we getting close?
We'll talk off mic about it. We'll talk off mic about it.
Oh, you don't want to tell the people? Okay.
Nah. I don't want to. I would hate for somebody to ruin that for me, so I'm not going to ruin it for you guys either.
So, is it something that happened in the first 3 episodes?
Something that happens in the first 3 episodes shows you that what I'm used to for Black Noir is different in the show. So, what the secret that I don't want to spill the beans on might end up not even being the case. Okay. But even so, I don't want to give that information up.
Okay, gotcha. No worries. But yeah, I feel like
The Boys episode 1 for season 3. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. 3 episodes are out now. We'll talk about the other episodes on subsequent episodes of the podcast, but like, definitely do yourself a favor and go check it out. As long as you're okay with just debauchery, gore, if you're okay with superheroes being completely jacked up, then go for it.
Also, I love Butcher. I love Butcher's character. I love Carl Urban, what he's doing with him. I enjoy it. I also really like Huey, too.
I do, too. Yeah. Huey, I love Huey, but he also gets on my nerves. Like, he does a lot of back and forth, but I understand it. And living in a world like this, it's hard not to.
So, what about, I want to briefly touch on The Deep apparently loves getting hate mail from Aquaman fans. Have you heard about this? Like the actor?
Yes, I have.
Dude, it's hilarious. I posted that
on my Instagram.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
It's funny that he gets hate mail from Aquaman fans because he's obviously an Aquaman parody, and I don't think people know what the word parody means. No. But with that said, he literally exists to, like, his character is to make fun of that character. And I can also say in the comics, The Deep is different. Like, in the comics, The Deep looks like an old school Samaritan, you know, like he has like the fishbowl big helmet on. He looks like one of the big sisters from BioShock. That's what he looks like in the comics.
Big Daddies?
So in this one, huh?
Big Daddy?
Sorry, I said Big Sisters. I meant Big Daddies. He looks like a Big Daddy in the comic, but in this, they just kind of made him look like a pretty boy like Aquaman. So it's really funny. So they made him even more of a parody of Aquaman.
Did they target hilarious. DC only for this?
No, they target DCM over, like, all the characters. Every single
Captain
America.
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking of Soldier Boy. It's Captain America.
Yeah, they're all jokes on other characters that exist in subsequent universes. So yeah, the seven is clearly a joke on the Justice League and the
Yeah.
movie that they're doing. Geez, all that's supposed to be Snyder cut jokes and stuff, and even Zack Snyder got in on that joke and thought it was hilarious. So that's really cool to see. But with that said, all of that together, like the team is based off of the Justice League, but the characters themselves, they're coming from all directions.
So there's nobody that's safe, pretty much.
Absolutely nobody is safe now.
Who
Like
who
you
did
just
this
saw
comic?
it.
Like what company and stuff? Do you know?
It was by Dynamite, and I think Image took over after a while. I want to say
Kind of makes
but I
sense. It's an
can't
Image
remember.
thing
Yeah,
because Image usually has some rougher stuff. So, did you like the first episode? Did you enjoy it?
I love the first episode. I love the first episode, man. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're, as someone that's read the material, you're pleased with it. I honestly, I really enjoy it. I like going through it. I can't wait to watch the next episode when it comes out. I thoroughly enjoy it. I like the debauchery, the badness, just all of it, the shock and awe of different parts. I really enjoy it. Like I said, I thought it was hilarious, the termite part. I laughed so hard. And what made it even funnier for me was looking over and seeing my wife just mouth open and she's like, "What the hell?" And I just laughed even harder. I don't know. I enjoyed it. But I figure we would save because time constraints. We don't want to drag the episode too long. We will talk about episodes 2, 3, and then probably 2, 3, and 4. Probably lump them together maybe next week, next episode.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we got more episodes coming. I believe it's 8 episodes in a season, so we have 5 more to go. So we'll be able to talk about a lump of a couple ones because we won't have Stranger Things to talk about next week. But we'll also probably talk about some games next week. We got Game Fest, Summer Game Fest is going on right now. So we'll be able to discuss some of that stuff as well as some other things. We got, like I said, there's a lot of content, a lot of material coming out right now that we can discuss and go over. So it's a good time. A lot of stuff for us to discuss with you guys and gals. And we've actually had a wonderful idea. One of our listeners and stream watcher has come in and pitched the wonderful idea of he would love to hear us discuss villains, our top 10 villains. And me and Christian have talked about it. I think it's something we're going to do in a future episode pretty soon. Not sure when yet, but very soon we'll be doing it because, to quote him, he said everyone remembers a hero, but no one remembers a villain, and he would love to know our top 10 villains. So that will be something we both can do our homework on, and that'll be a good conversation piece that I'm pretty excited for.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be exciting. It's going to be a little difficult as well.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be very difficult. I can't lie. Like, already trying to think of people. Dude, oh my God, that's going to be rough. That's going to be super rough. But that's going to conclude the stuff we have for this episode. And we are going to go to, well, whiskey. You know what time it is. Yeah, that's right. Whiskey. We're going to
pass the whiskey
for the last call question. And this week it comes from our very own, the beautiful, lovely Mrs. Sinister is asking us a question. She says, this one is for Christian. What got you into art drawing? Did you take any classes or is it something you naturally picked up?
That's a great question. I don't actually get that a lot. And a lot of people, the people who have asked me this question, once they hear the answer, they usually laugh at me and because they think it's a big funny joke. But it's the truth. So
Christian was drawing
what got
wieners.
me in yeah, I had a whole sketchbook full of them. But what was happening was obviously I was reading comics and sometimes I would doodle every now and then. But what really got me into straight up drawing was Dragon Ball Z.
Dude, legit, I thought you were going to say Titanic for a minute. And I was like, draw me like one of your friends.
I remember that's exactly what happened. So I don't really draw anime so much anymore. Like I've adapted my style. It's more Western, like traditional comic book art. Western style comic book art for the States. But when I started really getting into drawing, it was all anime all the time, baby. I was drawing Dragon Ball Z characters. I was making my own Dragon Ball Z characters. I had my own stories, everything. I was coming up with my own attacks, my own transformations. Actually, that's a lie. My character was just turning Super Saiyan because like that was the coolest thing ever at the time. But with that said, that's exactly what got me into it, because I was, I drew every now and then, but not really. But when Dragon Ball Z entered my life, it consumed it, man. I was drawing Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Great Ape characters like Frieza. I remember one day, it was a snow day. We had a massive snow day here in Nashville, and I'll never forget it. I was in a car. I was going to my buddy's house. We got out of school early because it was snowfall, and it was heavy snowfall. We got like 7 inches, and I was in the car drawing Frieza. And I remember that I had started drawing him in school, in class, on just regular notebook paper. And when I got in the car, in the van, I was drawing him still, and I didn't get done with that thing until we got home. It took us like an hour and a half to get home just because traffic was so backed up. So I just spent the entire ride drawing Frieza. And when I got done, I was so proud of myself, man. And that was the moment that solidified it for me, where I should just keep doing this, just keep drawing. And here I am today, still doing it. So that's what got me into it, Dragon Ball Z. Thank you, Akira Toriyama.
So that's cool. That's really cool. Nice little origin story. So did you ever take classes for it, like she mentioned?
Oh, yeah, I went to college for it, for sure. I took some art classes in high school, but I mean, art classes in high school just translated to, drawing still lifes, which was apples and bottles and stuff like that. It was really boring shit. And then once you got out of college, once you go to college and start drawing there, that's when you start doing more fun stuff. And I really enjoyed that. So definitely went to school specifically for drawing, got 2 degrees in it. And here I am still doing it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Mrs. Sin, for submitting that question. We do appreciate it.
Miss you, girl. Thank you for the question.
And if you'd like your question to be featured on the last call question, just make sure you go to the gilded.gg/Sinister Pack. In the application, just put "you're here for the podcast." And then there is a whole Sippin' With Sin section. And under the general, you can see last call questions, as well as episode chat, topics, suggestions, drinks. And then there's a section for Sinister Tales. Post your scary stories. Tell us stuff. We would love to go over it on the podcast. And yeah, lots of fun and stuff and things there. But that's going to do it. So be sure to come check us out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast, Overcast, Anchor FM, everywhere podcasts are available for audio, and the video version over on my YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. Come check it out Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Every week, new episode drop. Continue to spread it. Continue to rate it 5 stars. Subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff and things. Spread the word. Show it to your friends. Let your dog listen to it. Let them subscribe to. Give it to your cat, your llama, your chickens. I don't care. Keep spreading the word. Keep growing the family. Keep giving it exposure. We appreciate it. You can also follow Sippin' With Sin on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sippin' With Sin, SIPPIN, with Sin. Come show some love over there. Say hello to us. Give us feedback. We love to hear it. We've been getting some feedback on some of the videos. Shout out to the one and only Yobi. Yobi has been coming in, commenting, discussing different topics on the YouTube video, so we appreciate you. So we like to give back love to the viewers and to the different people that are listening and checking out the content. We do greatly appreciate it. And you can, of course, find me on social media at Sinister TV, pretty much everywhere except for YouTube. YouTube is just IamSinister. But you can find me streaming live on Twitch, twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV, Facebook, fb.gg/IamSinisterTV, and TikTok at IamSinisterTV. And of course, everywhere else, like I said, IamSinisterTV, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Come check it out. Come say hello. I would love to talk to you, converse with you, and always love feedback. Christian, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Ven and Ink. That is VEN and Ink, all one word. Those are the only 2 social medias that I currently have because, contrary to popular belief, I don't really like social media all that much. So that's where you can find me.
Okay. And Christian likes to talk about wieners. Just saying.
Oscar Mayer.
Yeah. He likes to sing the song to you. Just throwing it out there. But next week we'll have some more stuff to talk about. More boys talk. So definitely check it out. Again, it's on Prime Video. I highly recommend watching it. If you like debauchery stuff, don't watch it with your kids. Don't be that person. Little kids probably do not need to watch it because it's not very good for little eyes. Generally. And yeah, we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about some of the game releases as well as some other fun stuff and things. More Obi Wan. We'll have episode 5 discuss. A lot of things, a lot of content. So next week's episode will be a good one. But thank you for listening to this one. If you got to this point, we appreciate you. And it's time for Christian to take us all the way home. Christian, shut it down.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review, smash that like button, and leave your recommendations and comments below. But most importantly, guys, don't get gutted.
Ooh, scary. See you guys next time.